That's how it's going to look. It's going to be a church that's revolutionary. It's a church that wants reformation, not just revelation, restoration, and revolutions, but they want a reformation. They want to bring about change to the very fabric that they stand on.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the type of people God's raising up. Oh! Yeah, shika-boomba that. Not bad for a guy that should have been dead 3 times. Yeah. Anyway, over here in Mark 5, this guy wasn't doing too good. How many know that God calls the unqualified qualified?
Amen. Amen.
He calls the disqualified, He qualifies them.
Amen.
See, you were born on purpose tonight. You are here for a purpose. There's a divine purpose about you. There's something special. There's something unique. There's something different. Did you know that your fingerprints and your retinas are all different? Why? Because God's a creative God. He doesn't like doing things the same all the time. He doesn't like it when his kids fight.
Amen.
And here's the revelation He gave to me tonight. Listen to this. As I was in my room vibrating to Jason Upton, with my headphones on, bumping it for Jesus. Yeah, getting down up in the room. Listen to what he said. He said, Jeff, and I knew this because John Arnott told me. He said, years ago, Vikings came to this land. They stole Irish women from Ireland. And they took them to this land called Iceland. Listen to this. But he said, Jeff, those women did not belong to them. Listen. He said to me tonight, tell Icelanders that some of your sons and daughters have been stolen. And they do not belong there. And you, as a group, as an organized people, as a people of war, with tongues of fire and rage in your heart against religion and denominationalism, will rise up and pull them and pluck them out of the fire. He's a jealous God. He goes after what's His. I'm telling you, I'm a father of 5 daughters. If someone stole my daughter, I would go after her. God's coming after you, Iceland.
Amen.
Yeah. Get that revelation, Chica Boom Ba, Chica. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to read it now, and I promise I will. Mark, the 5th chapter. It says this. It says they went across the lake to the region of the Gerasenes, or Gadara. This is a place that's in Israel. I've been there several times. And it's a graveyard. It's right up by, it's on a hill actually over the Sea of Galilee. I've been there. Listen to this. It says, they went across the lake to a place called Gadara. And it said when. Everybody say when.
When.
It said when Jesus got out of the boat. See, God's calling you out of the boat, Iceland. It's time to get out of the boat. It's time to get out of the boat. It's time to change your position. It's time to have a paradigm shift. It's time that you do something just a little bit different. It's time that you just get just a little bit radical. It's time that you just get, hey, I got fire on me, and guess what? I'm going to bring it to Iceland and melt this joint. We're going to melt this joint called Iceland. We're going to put it in God's big, gigantic boiling pot. It says he got out of the boat, and listen to this, a man with an evil spirit came from the tombs to meet him. It says this man lived in the tombs, and no one could bind him anymore, not even with a chain. For he had often been clothed, listen to this, chained hand and foot, but he tore the chains apart. It was too strong. They weren't strong enough to subdue him. And then listen to what it says in verse 5. It says night and day. Everybody say night and day.
Night and day.
That means all the time. Oh, listen to this. It said night and day among the tombs. And in the hills he would cry out and he would cut himself with stones. He was in a graveyard. He wasn't doing too good. He didn't have a record of success. He didn't have great big diplomas on his wall. He wasn't a great businessman in the community. He didn't have a whole lot going for him. But night and day it said he lived in the graveyard. He lived amongst the dead. He lived amongst the tombs. And there was no one strong enough to change his life. See, the psychologists and psychiatrists were out of business. They couldn't fix him. See, they tried to fix me analytically, but they couldn't fix me. Why did you go to prison, Jeff? Why did you shoot people? Why did you rob banks? Why did you do this? Why did you do that? Let's figure it out. Let's do something. Let's get weird. And they tried to fix me analytically, but they couldn't fix me that way, because you can't fix someone that's bound by a devil that way. You know, I thank God for psychiatrists and psychologists, but they're the biggest suicide rate in the world. You know, the ones we go to get help. They're jumping out windows and killing themselves. They're so jacked up. Everybody say jacked up.
Jacked up.
It says night and day he was in the tombs. He was in the graveyard. He walked and lived amongst the dead people. Are you thinking about this right now? Yeah. He lived in a place of death. He lived in a place where there was no friends. He lived in a place where there was only tombstones. He lived in a place called a graveyard. He lived in tombs. And it said night and day he'd cry out and he'd cut himself. He'd cut himself. He was the first cutter. The first cutter. People think that was something here was back then. Trust me. There's nothing new under the sun. Verse 6, I love this. It says, when he saw Jesus. Oh my God. It said, when he saw Jesus from a distance, I'm telling you right now, God's calling your name. He's calling your sons and daughters to look at him from a distance. Because I'm telling you right now, if you'll look at Jesus from a distance, and if you'll stop trying to make him be a sugar daddy God, and if you'll look over the face of God, if you go after the face of God, you'll get the hand of God. You'll get the provision of God. God said, listen, I want you to stop looking at your problems. I want you to stop looking at your economy. I want you to stop looking with fear. I want you to stop being afraid. I want you to rise up and be the bride that I've called you to be. I want you to rise up and prophesy. I want you to begin to speak to the unspeakable. I want you to begin to say things that no one else will say. I want you to begin to believe things that no one else might believe. I want you to begin to prophesy, prophetically speak to the atmosphere. Why? Because I know it changes the atmosphere. It said when he saw Jesus from a distance, he ran and he fell on his knees in front of him and he began to worship. Think about it. It says he shouted at the top of his voice, what do you want with me, Jesus? These were them devils in him. Most High God, swear to God that you won't torture me. For Jesus had said to him, come out of this man, you evil spirits. Listen. In John the 14th chapter, in the 12th verse, it says that the works that I do, you shall do greater works than these.
Amen.
Who was he talking to? He was talking to you tonight, Iceland. He said that the works that I do, the very things that I do, the very things that I say, the very miracles that I perform, the very eyes that I've opened, the very ears that I've touched, the very tongues that I've touched, the very marriages that I touched. He said, you've got the power, Iceland. It says, greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. The greater Christ, the anointed one, has taken residency up on the inside of you. Oh my God, that's good preaching, Jeff. Man. I love this. When he saw Jesus, it said he ran and he fell down. And if you study it out, this is amazing. You study this out. It said when Jesus was crossing the lake in the boat, he already knew he was going to meet that man. And in the boat, he was saying these words, come out of that man, you unclean spirit. Jesus had already started messing with those devils because the history records that there was 2,000 demons in that man. And it says that Jesus from a boat, he already knew it. See, God's giving you a prophetic mind. God's giving you destiny. God's opening you up to the realm of the prophetic. Why? Because he wants you to speak to the impossible and make it possible. See, prophets speak to the impossibilities. Preachers speak the possibilities. Prophets speak to impossibilities. It says, believe in the words of the prophets, and you shall what? You shall prosper. If someone you'll prosper in what? You'll prosper in everything you do. You'll prosper in everything you say. Everything you do, everywhere you go will be blessed. He said to Joshua, every place your foot touches, as your foot touches this land, God's given it to you.